cigar, C-I-G-A-R as an acronym. So basically every letter means something. C means controls, and so we want to make sure the controls work, because if they don't work, you want to figure that out right now. So move that stick left and right, front to back. Then you're checking for freedom of movement of the control system. Ailerons are working, you want to be good. You're visually checking them as well. Check your rudder pedals there. Does everything feel okay?
Everything feels real good.
All right, we'll call that good. I'll trust you. There's a video on YouTube. There was a de Havilland Caribou, was a airplane used in the Vietnam era. What guy took off, and he did do that, right? And so the controls were locked. You can actually lock the controls, and so he took off, and the airplane went up, and it came right back down because the controls were locked backwards like this. And it ended poorly for everybody that was on board the airplane.
Yeah, I can see why.
That looks good. All right, so I is for instruments. That's the next letter in the word cigar. You're up there, Craig. I'm back here. Your altimeter, I can look over your left shoulder. It's set on 800, as is mine. Your airspeed is straight up at 0. And the ball, the little black ball, looks like it's favoring the left side.
Just a hair.
It's here, but that'll be fine. It's run by centrifugal force. It has to work.
Gotcha.
If it doesn't work, there's no gravity. And then we don't care, because everything's going to come up and get us.
Yeah.
So now the bottom instruments basically are engine driven. You have our tachometer, and we have our oil pressure and oil temperature, and they look fine. I'm going to take care of the throttle for you today. Us guys, you know, as you might agree, we're not really good multitaskers. So the idea is I want to teach you how to fly this thing. Next time when you come back, I'm going to introduce you to the throttle and have you multitask, and I'm actually also going to have you do the takeoff if the weather's good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
CIG, gasoline. Do we have enough fuel to fly? Well, we do. We have 1 hour and 30 minutes of fuel. See that right ahead of you by the, straight ahead and up.
They were in half a tank.
No, look straight. See that right there? Straight ahead and up on the upper wing, right by the mirror.
Yeah, right here.
There you go. Yeah, we have a little less than a half, so hour and 30 minutes. Inside the cockpit on the left-hand side is your mixture control. That's red, that little red ball that says M, that's all the way forward. And then right ahead of that is your fuel valve.
Gotcha. And
it's either on or it's off, and we don't want to have these cadets mismanage the fuel system, because that causes accidents. So they just had one tank, and it was either on or off, so there's really nothing to screw up there. By the way, just a little sidebar, like the P-38 Lightning that you might have seen. Do you know what a P-38 is?
Yeah.
The twin boom?
Yep.
That has an incredibly complex fuel system in it. And quite often those guys in training would run the airplane out of fuel, although there was fuel on board, but they would run the tank dry, and then that was the end of them. Anyways, we're good on fuel. A is accessories. Elevator trim tab is underneath the throttle on the left-hand side. If you look down there, you'll see me moving that little black lever around.
Yep, I see it. Yep.
Don't really worry about that. That's there because every time you fly the airplane, the load's different. So the idea is you can adjust that trim tab so that if you let go of the stick, the airplane will go straight and level.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then, of course, the last thing we have is the letter R in the word cigar, and that stands for run-up, and that's when we check our engine. On the far left-hand side of the panel, we already really kind of talked about it. It's the little black lever there.
Yep.
And there's 2 units on the back of the engine. They're called magnetos, and they are in charge of producing the spark to the spark plug. So in a car, we have a distributor and a battery. In this airplane, we have magnetos, so they're all engine-driven. You kind of want to do away with any type of problem that may arise, and distributor and a battery. If the battery goes dead, you're screwed. The engine's going to quit.
Yeah.
This can't happen. Because I can turn the electrical system off right now, and the engine will be just fine.
Yeah, these make their own power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, at this point, we're just about ready to taxi on out. So, what the method is the first thing we do.
Lands at 157 Bravo Alpha, Kalamazoo clearance, cleared to sky conditions.
Is we listen to this frequency here, and it has everything about the airport that we need to know prior to departing or flying into here and landing. So imagine if there was 100 people that were coming into this airport. If the poor guy up at the tower had to say the same thing over and over and over again, he'd go hoarse. So we listen to this.
Runway 17. Advise on initial contact. You have information Bravo.
So they named it Bravo, so that when we call them, we tell them that we listened to Bravo.
Kalamazoo information Bravo, 1653 Zulu. Wind, 130 at 4. Visibility, 10. Sky condition, Ceiling broken, 2,500.
Wow, it's going to be really nice flying today.
Overcast, 3,100. Temperature 24, 2.17. Altimeter 29er, 1. Visual approach in use, landing, runway 17. Advise on initial contact. You have information Bravo.
Okay, so what we'll do is we listen to information Bravo. So there's a little line right ahead of us, about another 50 feet or so. Right now, we're in what we call uncontrolled airspace. So we can do anything we want without talking to the tower. But once we cross that line, the area belongs to the guy in the tower. So to cross that, we need to call him and tell him that we're ready to taxi. So that's what we'll do now. Kalamazoo ground, Stearman 1, we're at the AirZoo with Bravo ready to taxi runway 17 at Foxtrot.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo ground, roger, and runway 17 at Foxtrot, taxi by taxiway Bravo.
Taxi to 17 at Foxtrot on Bravo for Stearman 1.
And Stearman 1, you going out to the east, southeast?
Yes, sir. These guys are really good to work with.
Kalamazoo ground,
We go out to the east here, and they don't let anybody get near me, and so it's really great. So basically, he told me to go down this taxiway, go to the end here where it says Foxtrot or F.
Runway 17, taxi by taxiway Charlie.
So if you've ever seen those old World War II movies, they have to zigzag. So we go a little bit to the left and hang our head out the right-hand side. Gently bring her back to the right and hang her head out the left-hand side. Believe it or not, this looks pretty simple. This is the hardest part of the flight right here.
So you can't see where you're going.
Exactly, and the bad thing is, look on the sides of the taxiway. See those little lights?
Right, yeah.
So if you screw up and you go too far over and you hit one of those, number one, Tim's going to come see you, and he's going to have an invoice for you. And the second thing is, you wreck the airplane. You know, you rip the fabric, the propeller. You have to replace the propeller, which is hugely expensive. That's why I kind of like Florida. These are high because of the snow. In Florida, where I fly,
they're right on the ground.
They're on the ground, yeah. So if you hit one, you just crunched it with your tire. It's a little bit different.
Never
different
thought
story.
about that. Huh.
And looking at our oil pressure gauge, or I'm sorry, our oil temperature gauge, it's up at 30.
Yes, they were about 30, 32.
So the oil's warmed up now, and it takes a while because there's 3 gallons of oil up there.
Is that oil tank that's sitting right down?
No, that's my smoke oil. This thing has a smoke system.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm sorry I can't use it. I ran out of smoke oil, and that stuff's $9 a gallon. I'm kind of stingy. It's at $9 a gallon. It's cool though.
I say it'd be cool, but yeah.
I don't have any of that stuff here. I get that by the 55-gallon drum, and my drum's in Florida. Okay, so back on task here. We've done our pre-takeoff checklist with the exception of our engine run-up. We've checked our oil temperature, and it's high enough. So what I'll do is I'm going to add a little power. We're going to run the power up to about 1,500 RPM. And we're going to ground each magneto independently of the other. So right now we're running on both mags. I'm going to switch over, that's about 1,500 there. I'm going to switch from both to left, so we're going to make a run on the left magneto. So basically what we just did was we grounded, it's only running on 1 spark plug per cylinder right now. We lost about 100 RPM, maybe a little bit less. So we've proven to ourselves that if it quits on the right mag, it's going to run just fine on the left. Back to both. Regain our lost RPM, let's try the right mag. Same deal. And it's nice and smooth. And basically, the magnetos in airplanes are extremely reliable these days. And so if you have a really bad mag drop, you got a fouled spark plug. And that's kind of common with aircraft engines because these things are designed to use lead. So with a little bit of lead in the fuel, you get a little clinker in the spark plug, and it's not going to work. And then you go back, and you got to change a plug. But that's not a big deal.
It's like the old style motors.
Yeah,
Go. Yep.
Sure. Craig, you ready?
Yep.
All right, so here's the deal. This is what we're going to do here. This guy's going to take off down here to our left, so I'm not even going to mess with these guys in the tower because they're going to tell me to wait. So just have your feet on the floor there for me and hands in your lap. Once we get off the ground, I'm going to have you come on the controls with me. We're going to talk about our climb out attitude. Then we're going to do a couple of turns together, one to the left and one to the right. And once we do those 2 turns, as you saw in the video, I let go of the stick because there's only one way to learn how to fly, and it's just to kind of go for it, you know.
Yep.
I think another reason why this is such a great trainer is we're flying so darn slow. It's not as slow as the new standard, but it's pretty slow. So if you're learning how to fly, you kind of don't want to go 200 miles an hour to start.
You said these are going to be like 75, 80?
It's going to go about 85, maybe you might get 90 out of it. Look at this thing. This is a high-priced Bonanza right here. That's about $500,000. Turbine engine in the front.
No kidding. Wow.
That thing will go about 225 miles an hour in cruise.
Not a cheap date then.
No. Can't take it with you though, I guess.
Yeah,
They
sure.
say I'm going to try. I'm going to buy one of those.
Yeah.
All right, so let me call this guy. I don't think there's anybody landing out there. Kalamazoo Tower, Stearman 1, ready to go at 17 Foxtrot.
7 Bravo Alpha, contact departure.
Thanks for that.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo Tower, left turn out approved, runway 17 at Foxtrot, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, left turn out, Stearman 1. Okay, so here's how you do this with these airplanes that you can't see over the nose. You have to, it's all peripheral vision. We kind of talked a little bit earlier about why I don't want you using goggles. Because if you can't see peripherally,
Yeah, you can't see there.
yeah, you can't. You're not going to be able to land it so well.
Just like in my motorcycle, the same thing. You put them on, and your vision's like,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Like those goggles that they put on those race horses at the Kentucky Derby.
Straight ahead only.
Straight ahead. So the idea is we get out here. I can see that little white line. Good. We look straight ahead. We focus on infinity, and when we do so, we can see where the runway ends out of the corners of our eyes, and the grass begins. So I'm just going to keep this stick in neutral. We bring the power to full power right there. Keep it going straight. The tail comes off the ground, and she's ready to fly right now. We just bring the nose up, and we're off the ground. Doesn't take long. All right, I just set the power for climb, 1850 RPM. Go ahead and grab the stick there, put your feet on those pedals. We want 75 miles an hour out of it. Right about there. Perfect. The best way to, if you look straight ahead, you don't have a reference on how high steep you're going up. But if you look out here, you can kind of see what's going on. By the angle between our wings and the horizon, it's not very steep. So lower that nose just a little tiny bit. Ease that stick forward. Feel how smooth it is up here. It's beautiful. All right, let's try a shallow left-hand turn. So ease that stick to the left. She's going to roll to the left. You get the angle of bank that you want. That's plenty steep. Stick to neutral. Perfect. If you look at that little black ball is right in the middle. And again, you don't have to use any left rudder. That's how you make a left-hand turn. Lower that nose just a little bit more for us. Maintain that speed. That's really important. Let's try a right-hand turn. Not too steep. Good. Stick to neutral. Look at that little black ball. See how it's out to the right a little bit? Push on the right rudder pedal until that ball comes back. There you go. That's how you make a right-hand turn. Good. We'll roll the wings to level. And lower that nose a little bit more. There you go. Let's make a left-hand turn. Stick to neutral. Now, here's the thing. On these climbing turns, we're looking for about a 20-degree angle of bank, okay? Remember, those wires ahead of you are 45. So we're not looking for anything super, super steep. Let's make that a right-hand turn. There you go. Stick to neutral. Add that right rudder at the same time as the aileron. Very good. So you can see how sensitive it is.
Yeah.
Let's try another left-hand turn. Now, down below are section lines. This little road right here is east and west. Everything in southern Michigan, just about, is laid out north, south, east, west, section lines. There's a little bird here.
Yeah.
So a compass is great, and you'll use it when you're getting your private pilot's license. I haven't used it since, because I'm always looking outside the plane, because the section lines are telling me which way I'm going. Good. We'll make one more right-hand turn. There you go. Good. Just like that. by the way, Greg, if you look at me in the mirror, I let go after the second turn.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that.
That's all right. I'm having fun.
Good. All right. So a quick glance at your upper left-hand instrument tells us that we're at about 1,800 feet above the ground. Minus our 800 feet that we started with means that we're at 1,000 feet above the ground. That's plenty high. Okay. Let's start this. So let's look at this little line right here. See this line right? There's a road up here.
Yep.
All right, that's east and west. Right now, basically, we're just about going to the east. What I want you to do is give me a 30-degree angle of bank turn to your left. We'll do a, right there is 30, perfect. We'll do a 180-degree change of direction. Good. This little road right here is north and south. That's 90 degrees is there. Good. And I love what you're doing. You're already looking outside the plane. That's how you do well here. Good. Let's try one of those to the right. Same deal. 30-degree angle of bank turn to your right. 10, 20, 30. Good. Around you go. Nice. You've added that right rudder. That's 90 degrees. There's a road right off your right wing. That's east and west. We're going to the north. Head to the east. How you feeling? Feeling good? All right.
Great, yeah.
Let's push up the progress here. Focusing on those wires. Let's try 45. So let's do a 360 to your left, 45-degree angle of bank. Put that left wire parallel with the horizon. And perfect. That's it right there. Now this is where your upper right-hand instrument comes into play. If you look at that right-hand instrument on the top row,
Yep.
it's your vertical speed indicator. Right now, this is a level turn in the sky. That's a 180-degree turn. This is 270 degrees is here. .360 degrees is here. Super job. You didn't lose a foot. That would have passed on your private pilot check ride. Seriously, that was great. Let's try one to your right. You got this thing figured out already. Good. And around you go. 90 degrees. .180 degrees. .270 degrees. .360 degrees. And we'll roll the wings to level. A quick glance at your altimeters shows us that we lost maybe 50 feet on that right-hand turn, and that we have to do those on your check ride, plus or minus 100 feet.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, so that passed. You passed on both. Great job. For somebody who's never flown before, to do that is actually really, really good.
There's an airplane over there.
Where's that? I do not see him. Is he above us or below us?
He's below us, actually. He's sitting over right just off the tip of the wing. Kind of about a 45-degree angle right over there.
Oh, I do see him.
See?
Yeah, he's outside of the control zone,
Yeah.
so oh, good eyes, wow. All right, let's try those lazy eights, okay?
5294 Kalamazoo Tower, turn left heading 140, runway 17.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come on the controls with you. We'll do one of these to the left together. Now, Craig, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to kind of push you a little bit because you're doing really well. This is how this works. Just feel what I do. I'm going to line up on this little road right here. See this road?
Yep.
All right. So what this maneuver is basically a 180-degree turn with a little bit of pitch. So right now we're heading to the north. We're going to roll on about 10-degree angle of bank, and we're going to bring the nose up. Freeze this stick right here. Now look over the side of the airplane. If you do this correctly, the nose will fall to the horizon 90 degrees to this road, right? Boom, right there. Now pick up that road, and we're going to roll on out, and we're going to head back to the south. Listen to it. There's 90. There's 100. We're rolling on out, and we're going the other way.
Well, that was cool.
Isn't that cool? It's really simple to do, but because you're flying it so well, I'm going to push it. All right, airplane's yours. I want you to do one to your left by yourself. Shallow angle of the bank. Bring the nose on up, as steep as you're comfortable with. Good. Hold it right there. Gravity's pulling the nose through the horizon. There. No. See how the nose really didn't fall on that one?
Yep.
The reason for that is you brought the nose up, but you didn't freeze the stick. You brought it back a little bit more. So when you bring the nose up initially, hold the stick right where it's at. Go ahead and roll the wings back to level. Let's try one of those. Here's your wash. Let's try one of those to your right. The only difference here is you have to use a little right rudder. Good, 10 degrees, bring the nose up. Good, now don't move the stick at all. Add a little right rudder here. See the difference? Watch the nose come through.
Yep, now I can feel it come down.
Good. Start rolling it to your left and bring the nose up. And you can feel the slight G-force on the bottom end.
You can definitely feel it.
The faster you go, you allow the airplane to go downhill, the more G's you're going to pull coming out of it. So if you recover quicker than later, that's maybe a good thing. Do you like those?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's piece it together. Roll the wings back to level. I want you to do one to the left, followed by one to the right. No stopping in between the two. Good. Bring the nose up. Good. Now hold it. This is a nice steep one. Look over your left shoulder. That's almost vertical. Ooh, yeah. Start rolling it to your right. Roll it right on through. 10 degrees to your right. There's about 100. You can hear it. 110. 10 degrees, up you go. Bring the nose up. Up some more. She's slowing down. You add a little right rudder here. And then roll the wings back to the left. Bring the nose on up.
Whoa, that was cool.
And that's a lazy 8 all by yourself. So can you hear what I'm talking about, listening to the airplane going up? Because that's really, really important a little bit later on in our flight. Cool. Well, a quick glance at your upper left-hand instrument, your altimeter. We're down here, 1,600 feet. Let me give you some more power. We'll climb back up to 1,800 feet. What do you think so far?
I like this. This is great.
It's so much easier to fly this than a Cessna. You know, a Cessna, you're inside. You're cramped right next to the guy who's trying to teach you how to fly. There's about 20, 25 different instruments to look at. And it's very intimidating the first time you go up and fly it. This airplane's not like that. You got plenty of space. I'm way back here. There's only 6 instruments on your panel. And it's going slow.
Yeah, I like this.
Let's do a 180-degree turn, left or right, your choice. There's a tower right down here.
Yep.
Let's go back to the south. This is 90 degrees. Good. And then we'll roll the wings back to level. Now, Craig, I'm going to have you do something that you generally don't have people do on their first flight here, but I want you to, I'm going to teach you how to use the throttle on the left-hand side. So put your left hand on that throttle, that black lever over there, and I want you to gently bring the power back, the RPM back, bottom left, until that needle is pointing to the number 3. So the idea is fly the airplane first, then you glance down and see what the RPM is, then you look right back outside until you get the power setting that you want. There's 1,600 RPM. We're looking for 1,300. There you go, good. There's 15, come on back. There's 14, come on back some more. Come on back, come on back, come on back, come on back. All right, that's good. Now, look back outside, don't look at the instruments, just keep the wings level, just lower that nose, put the airplane into a shallow descent. Tell me when you hear the whistle of the wind in the wires. You hear it?
Oh yeah,
all
right
right,
there.
so you're going about 90. Bring it back to level flight. Good, now listen to it. You should be able to hear it slowing down.
Yeah, yep.
Good, bring the nose up some more. Good, bring the nose up some more. Come on back some more, come on back, come on back. Remember what I said on the ground, when it stalls, hold the stick right where it's at. Come on back. You hear how quiet it is?
Oh,
Come on back some more, come on back. Here's your stall. here. Feel the airplane shudder. It goes downhill. Now listen to it.
That's cool.
And the nose comes right back up. We gently bring the power back up, and away you go. What's important there is to know what it sounds like when it goes fast. That's why we had you put it into a dive. What it sounds like when it goes slow. And anytime you fly an airplane for the first time, you really need to go up and stall it, because every airplane stalls differently.
And so you can actually feel it.
You can feel it, yeah. So if you do a bunch of stalls, it'll never happen inadvertently, because the airplane, you know what it's doing. You're listening to it. You can feel it shudder right above the stall. And a lot of times people are afraid of the stall. So the idea is to take people to their zone that they're maybe a little bit uncomfortable, and then kind of nudge them over the cliff and say, you know what, there's really not anything to be afraid of.
That's pretty easy to do,
Yeah.
really.
Let's do a 180-degree turn, left to right. We'll go back to the north. Good. Most people say, you know what, it's a lot harder going right than left.
Yeah, so I figured I'd go right and
Yeah.
keep going left, so this is not bad.
Perfect. All right, so here's what we got. We got about 8 minutes left to go here, before, actually 10 minutes left to go before we have to head back towards Kalamazoo Airport. Craig, this is your time to have some fun, all right? So you're in full control of the airplane. You can make this thing do whatever you want it to do. So if you like doing the turns, we can do those turns. If you like doing lazy eights, we can do some of those. If you want to try different stalls, we can kind of do that. It's whatever you want to do. It's, as the young kids say today, it's freestyle time. So this is your first time in a plane flying it.
Yep.
And remember, World War II, you'd have been flying this thing in between 8 and 12 hours of instruction.
You'd be tired.
Yeah, so what do you think? You think you could do it?
I
Of course you could. I mean, look where you're at. Seriously, 15 minutes into the flight, you're not looking at the instruments, you're flying the airplane well. The only thing is, learn how to do takeoff and landings. And if we had 3 hours of flight time, I can easily teach you how to do that. Not a big deal. Flying is fun. Did you like those lazy eights?
Yeah, that was cool.
Let's, we're getting a little bit closer to the airport. Let's keep this left-hand turn going. Let's go up a little higher. I'll give you some more power. Right now you're at about 600 feet above the ground. And we'll go up and do some more of those. Those are by far my favorite maneuver to do, especially in this, because it is a super, super strong airplane.
So you can really feel the teeth when you
Oh, yeah.
back out of this thing.
Yeah. All right, so bring the nose up. Let's go up to about 1,700 feet at 75 miles an hour. Now you can see I'm pushing the power up because we need more power to climb, but look at that little black ball.
Yeah, I can
So
see
the more power you push up on the climb, you got to add a little bit of right rudder to keep that ball in the middle. But when you bring the power back, you don't have to do that. So just keep it climbing. Let's go up another 200 feet. There you go. There's 1,600. Your upper right-hand instrument tells us that we're climbing at about 200 feet a minute. Now we're going up at 400 feet a minute. We'll take that. Mother Nature's helping you out this time. Yeah. Okay, here we are at 1,000 feet above the ground again. Reach over with your left hand, bring the power back to 1,750 RPM. The needle halfway between the 7 and the 8.
Yep.
Good. Okay, there's no one around us. I'm looking around. Let's try another lazy 8. Let's go to your left. So a shallow angle of bank. Bring that nose up. Bring it up some more, up some more, up some more. Freeze that stick right there. I'm at Kings Island. Big roller coaster day. Downhill we fly. Good. And we'll roll it to your right. And then bring the nose up. And a little right rudder pedal pressure over the top. And there's about, I don't know, you're in about a 50-degree angle of bank turn there.
Whoa, that was cool.
Do you like the steep turns?
That was cool.
All right, we'll do some more of those. Let's go back to your left. Put that left wire parallel with the horizon. You'll like this then. All right, let's go a little steeper. A little bit more. A little bit more. Bring the nose up a little bit. When you go beyond 45, you lose a whole bunch of lift. Feel the G right there?
Oh, yeah.
Look to your left. Right now you're 60 degrees right here.
That's cool.
In an airliner, they never bank more than 30 degrees because if they do, the drinks roll out or slide off the table. Exactly. Let's try one of those to the right. So, if you look right beside those wires up in the front, you see those gray struts that go from the airplane to the wing right ahead of you? Not the rear set, the front set. The front set, yeah, the ones in the front. Those are right now, those are at a 60-degree angle to the horizon. So if you do 60-degree angle of bank turn, and that's a maneuver that's on your commercial check ride, you put those struts right on the horizon, and around she goes. It's kind of cool. A lot of times people say, well, at what point does the airplane just kind of flip over? You know, like fall off the table, for example, and obviously it never does, because it's always flying. There you go. All right, so you're doing really, really good, I'll be honest, and I don't say that very often, but there's only maybe a couple more things I can teach you. How are you with that stall?
That was all right.
Were you okay with that? All right. Let's try a power on stall. So we'll roll the wings to level, and what this does is this simulates what happens if we take off and we go up too steeply. Remember when we got off the ground, I said, all right, I want 75 miles an hour out of this thing. Well, let's say you didn't do that, you brought the nose up. So just keep the wings level, we're gonna leave the power right where it's at, and then bring the nose up a little bit. Good. Now, Craig, look out here. See your angle of attack, bring the nose up some more. You're looking out here. Look how steep you're going up. That's about a 40-degree angle. Bring the nose up some more. Come on back, come on back. You're going to feel the stick shudder right there.
Whoa.
So it's not a big deal, but imagine doing that 100 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
And your natural tendency will be to yank the stick back because the ground's right ahead of you, and then it goes into a secondary stall, and that's the one that kills you.
Right, okay.
Not the first one, it's the second one. Cool. 180 left. There you go. All right, I got one more stall for you. So you've done a partial power on stall, you've done a power on stall. How about we figure out or you learn what it's like to stall this thing with no power? And so when we land, we're doing the same thing. So we'll just gently bring the power back. Are you okay with that stall?
Yeah. Yep.
Are you doing okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, this is kind of cool because right above the stall, you'll start to smell exhaust fumes coming into the cockpit. So lower that nose for me a little bit. Pick up that whistle sound.
Yep.
Can you hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Gently bring the nose on up. Bring the nose up some more. Come on back some more. Come on back, come on back, come on back. Tell me when you smell the exhaust fumes.
Yeah.
Come on back, come on back, come on back, come on back. It's pretty quiet, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so there's your, that's kind of a stall. Yeah, there we go. The nose fell on through. Now listen to it.
There it goes. It's picking up.
You're picking up so that, obviously the airplane's flying. We bring the power back in and away you go.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. Again, I mentioned on the ground, I would be petrified installing airplanes when I was learning how to fly.
So that's almost like a landing thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. If I was going to teach you how to land it, we'd do a lot of those power off stalls, and I'd say, okay, I'd put a piece of duct tape over the airspeed indicator, and I'd say, pull the power back, slow the airplane down to 70, because you have to memorize that sound for 70.
Yep,
all right, then I say, all right, slow down to 60. And so the idea is when you learn how to land it, you have to listen to the airplane because we have to absolutely keep this thing going straight down the runway.
Yeah, so you can't see where you're going.
Exactly. So if you start looking at instruments instead of flying the airplane, you know, ultimately bad things will happen to you.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You don't want that. All right. Cool. Man, there's no more I can teach you. You've done it all. 3 stalls, lazy 8, steep turns. You've actually done 60-degree angle of bank turns.
That's great. That's why I was up here. This is
Yeah,
cool.
man. Just flying around at what are we here? 800 feet above the ground, looking around, having fun. There's a little golf course down there today. So back in World War II, they would expect you to solo this thing in between 8 and 12 hours. You could easily do that. You fly it for 65 hours in your primary training course. From the Stearman, you would go into the BT-13 basic trainer. That's the one you learn how to fly at night, because you can see over the nose of that.
Right. Okay.
You can learn how to fly it with instruments, because it's got a full array of instruments on the panel, and you'd actually learn how to fly in close formation. And when I say close formation, imagine flying along, looking to your back behind us and to your right, and there's an airplane like 20 feet right there.
Right.
And it was tight formation. That's the airplane you would do that in. From there, the T6, the Texan, you'd fly that airplane to learn how to use the propeller landing gear. All right, let's make a 180 to your right.
Kalamazoo Tower. Traffic of biplane about 4 miles southeast of the airport, maneuvering low altitude.
Roger, I think I have him in right now, off to our 10 o'clock or so.
All right, you see the airport there?
I do, yep.
I want you to head the airplane right to the middle of the airport. All right, I'm going to give our tower guy a call here. Kalamazoo Tower, Stearman 1. We are 4 mile 45, landing runway 17.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo Tower. Enter left downwind for runway 17. Traffic, a sky lane 6 miles southeast of the airport, northbound.
Go entering left downwind. We're looking for that skyline traffic for Stearman 1. All right, so there's a guy back behind us in a fast-moving plane.
I heard that.
He's looking for us. It's going to be hard for us to see him since he's behind us. So we'll see what happens. Now, we're going to take everything that you learned thus far today, and the pattern is where it really matters. And so we did those 30-degree angle of bank turns for this reason alone. We don't want the steep stuff, because the steeper your angle of bank, the higher your stall speed. We do not want to stall the airplane in the pattern. So we're going to maintain at least 75 miles an hour. That's its best glide speed. And you adjust your rate of descent by using the throttle. I'll take care of that for you today. You adjust your speed by using pitch. So if we're going, let's say we're going 60, obviously you lower the nose because we got to go faster. Or if we're going 100, you bring the nose up.
Right.
But I say, 75 to 85, even if you get 90 out of it in the pattern, that's fine. You always want to err on the side of being too fast and not fast enough. If there is a skylane behind us, now that we're...
2021, biplane traffic a mile south of the field, entering left downwind for runway 17, no back.
Roger, thank you.
All right, because you should be able to see the yellow wings on the top. All right, so there's your runway. You see it down there? I want you to make a shallow right-hand turn, and I want you to fly parallel with that runway. Fly parallel to it. Now this is what we talked about on the ground with the napkin.
Stearman 1, wind is 220 at 5, altimeter 29er, 89er.
Waldo 1. All right. There you go. Now, I'm going to bring the power back a little bit.
Stearman 1, runway 23 is available also if you would prefer.
Okay, we'll take 23. All right, we're going to change runways. Yeah, Stearman 1, we can take 23. You see...
Stearman 1, roger. Enter left base for runway 23. Runway 23, cleared to land.
23 is this one. We took off on this one. We're going to land on 23.
Okay.
So we're going to go this way, and we're going to make a one, because the wind's right down that runway.
Yep.
And when you land...
Stearman 1, change to runway 23. Enter the left base. Runway 23, clear to land.
Clear to land 23, Stearman 1. All right, so we are good to go. So, when you land this thing, it's interesting because we're using our peripheral vision. We're a little bit on the high side, so I'm going to bring the power back a little bit more. And if you go through the main runway, when we land on 2-3, you can't see anything because there's no markers going through. There's no lines or anything. So what we'll plan to do is land just beyond the main runway.
2021, contact departure on 119.2.
Now, when you're
going back to departure.
When you're ready, I want you to make a left-hand turn, line it up with the runway. Now you hear the whistle?
Yep, sure do.
Perfect. You're at 75 miles an hour. I mean, the power's going to start coming down here pretty quick. I got the power pulled way back. So lower the nose. You want about 70. There it is. Good. If you drag this thing in with a lot of power, you can't see the runway down low. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take it from here. We have a little left to right crosswind. Now listen to this thing. Yeah, it's about, I think that's about square. We're listening to it. And we're on the ground now.
Cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Now this is the hard part, keeping it going straight. You kind of see it kind of wagging its tail a little bit.
Because I can see your feet going now.
01, turn left on taxiway Alpha, contact ground, point 9er.
Point 9er, Stearman 1. So he wants us to go back a little bit here to Alpha. Kalamazoo ground, Stearman 1 is with you, 2-3.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo ground, roger. To museum, but by taxiway Alpha, Bravo, cross runway.
Alpha Bravo cross 27 for Stearman 1. All right. Craig, what I want you to do is, you might as well do this because you did so well. Put your feet back on those pedals, heels on the floorboards. So we'll keep it nice and slow. So what you want to do, remember, go a little bit to your left. And then you hang your head out the right. There you go. Good. Start coming back to the right. And then you hang your head out the left. Watch those lights. There you go. Cannot be expected to do takeoff if you can't taxi it. So when I first started learning how to fly a tailwheel airplane, the instructor had me taxi around the airport for 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
I was pissed. I'm like, am I paying for this? Because this is ridiculous. And that's what he told me. He says, I can't teach you how to take off if you can't taxi it. I was like, true.
Yeah.
And you'll notice this takes all the concentration right here.
It does, because you got to really pay attention to what you're doing.
So if you've ever been on a sailboat, it's kind of like tacking. You know, before you get to where you want to turn, you got to make the input because it takes a little bit to turn the airplane.
Yeah, you can feel because you push on it, but it takes a second to start going that way.
Exactly.
You can clip something pretty easy.
There you go. Now we have been cleared to cross this cross runway here, 27 and 9. So start coming back there. You're a little bit to your left. Good. Now, let's be honest. We can look down here. There's nothing there, but that's okay. We can practice. This taxiway is a little wider than the one you were just on.
I said that one seemed a little narrow, but
yeah, if you think that's bad, look at this one right here. This
that
that one's really narrow. You can't really even.
Oh.
See, that's if you you think you got it, then you start your not paying attention.
Much,
yeah. There you go. Starting to get the hang of it. It just takes a little practice, like everything else. There you go. Good. So we're fortunate here at this type of airport because if there was a guy ahead of us, the tower would tell us.
Right.
But 95%, maybe even more than that, of all airports in the United States don't have towers. So if you're at a small little airport, you gotta, it's every man for himself. You gotta make sure you don't hit anything.
So you gotta figure it out all for yourself.
Yeah. You did a fantastic job with this.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was the video or your mechanical background, or maybe you're just a natural. That was easy for you. So what we have up here is our taxiway. So we'll head up to this taxiway. We'll make a right-hand turn, and we're going to put the airplane back where we found it there. It's nice to keep this thing nice and slow. There we go, and this is our last obstacle. We'll go to the left, hard to the left, because there's an airplane. There we go.
Yep. I'll let you take it.
Okay. This is kind of cool, this next part. It has a full swivel steerable tail wheel on this thing, so we can actually kind of do a half a donut here. So it does this, and we'll just kind of tap on it, and around she comes.
Yeah, so you do it enough, that's cool.
So to shut her down, see that little red ball that says M?
Yep.
Pull that all the way back for me. That's our mixture control. Now add a little bit of throttle. Hold her there. Take that one last deep whiff. 100 octane. Yep.
Shut the fuel off?
Yep. Shut the fuel off. I turn the magnetos off. And complete your mission.
Thank you.